hello, Retrothon and chat for, I think this is the finale. This is Twilight Princess. All mirror shards. I'm Phantom, and I have Mid with me. She wants to say literally anything. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Guys.
Do you want to talk about what all mirror shards is really quick?
Yeah, so obviously we're collecting all the mirror shards, so we're going to like 4 different dungeons. We go to Snow Peak, then Arbiters, then City, and then Temple of Time. And we just, yeah, we try to do it as fast as possible. We have a lot of different like glitches and different skips we do throughout the dungeons.
Yeah, so we start from this pre-made save file, and we can talk about why that's important in a second here, but I will go straight into this. We're going to start the timer here on the TV settings screen. 3, 2, 1, go. So why do we have the pre-made file?
We start in, we're gonna like go to Snow Peak, but we start in like halfway through the game. Because we don't want to start, we can't start at the beginning because it will just, you know, then we have to do all the fuse shadows. So you're allowed to make a save file or have a save file ready that's halfway through the game.
Yep. There are limits, like you can only have 8 hearts, you can only have things that you would normally have glitchlessly up to this point in the game. But it's not too complicated. And also we're going to be immediately doing a frame perfect trick.
Yeah, so we're starting with map glitch. So what happens casually is you can't go up the mountain this early into the game. You need to have like a reek fish and stuff like that, but you can just do a map glitch, which is frame perfect. You have to open the map and call Minna at the same time, just as you see there. And then you just cancel everything out and it unloads the map, so you're able to just climb right up the mountain. But actually at the top, you have to howl, because if you try to dig, as you normally would do, you have to dig under, like, to get through the cave, it would soft lock your game. But you can just howl at the top and it'll like, put the map back for you.
Yeah, so there's currently no loading zones or void out planes of any kind whatsoever. If we were to fall, like, off a cliff, oops, we would be falling forever.
And if you die here as well, like, you guys be kind of careful with map glitch, because if you die, you'll soft lock. If you, yeah, obviously, like, fall off, you'll soft lock.
Yeah. Lots of small things that can just kind of kill you.
Yeah.
But this is the intro to this category. Normally this is about, what, like an hour and a half-ish into most runs? Most, like, full game runs, something like that.
Yeah, I would say about a hour and a half.
I'm just trying to think of, like, AD and any percent, mostly.
Any percent, yeah, definitely an hour and a half.
Yeah, so by howling here, we just load in all of the void out planes and loading zones. But we don't need to actually play the song. We kind of just need to, like, reload the room.
A lot of time if you howl there again.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Playing the song takes a while.
Yeah. This cave is kind of annoying as well, because there's, like, ice keys and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, we'll see if they want to let me through.
Mm-hmm.
They don't usually. Okay.
Damn, nice. That was clean.
He didn't want to let me through. He got punished for it.
So here I'll just explain what Phantom's doing. So he's, oh sorry, they're doing a messenger skip, because there's usually a messenger fight. Sorry, yeah, there's like a messenger beast fight here, but they can just long jump attack over there, and then it becomes like blind snowboarding because the fog never really clears.
Yeah, so we're
So
gonna
like,
be snowboarding through a whiteout.
yeah.
Would not recommend. It's kind of hard to tell where you're going when there's a bunch of jumps in the middle of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can talk about like why I'm doing some of the things that I'm doing during this, like spin attacks.
Yes. So if you can do spin attacks here, and it kind of just makes you go a little bit faster. And you're gaining height, makes you go faster snowboarding. And if you just kind of like stayed, you know, on the ground, it's gonna be pretty slow.
Yeah, although sometimes you want to be on the ground so you can move.
Right.
You don't have much mobility in the air.
And I think you're taking the shortcut as well.
Yep.
The shortcut is obviously faster, but it's a lot more dangerous because there's a lot of gaps and stuff.
Easy. That's the scary jump.
I find that one is the scariest one.
Really?
Yeah.
That first one's really hard to like gauge for me. But yeah, that's we are going into Snow Peak Ruins now. Our first dungeon. Okay. Hi, Midna. So, you can talk. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, so we're starting with an LGA here
Uh-huh.
to get over this gap. And then we're gonna do something called LFC, which is basically like a frame perfect timing of this. Yeah, this is a thing too. You have to go under the floor. There's a lot going on in Snow Peak.
All kind of immediately.
Yeah, but this is LFC. So you have to do like a frame perfect timing here. And you'll hear, when Phantom gets it right, you'll hear a creak. That is kind of hard to get. And then you have like the next one is like a 7-frame window. Yeah, there it is. And basically what that'll do is it'll stop the freezer from spraying. Yeah, like that. So it'll spray here and then it'll stop, but if you don't do that, the freezer will just spray forever. So this is the only way you can get up.
Yeah, you're supposed to destroy this freezer by doing the dungeon. That's like the that's like the last thing that you're supposed to do is destroy that freezer with a cannon. But we want to get over here as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and this is the like freezered skip that Phantom just did. You basically just have to line yourself up like parallel to the freezer, and then you can kind of sneak in there.
And I did have to open the door. Unlike most Zelda games, the doors actually matter.
And this guy's Dark Hammer, you can kill him kind of quick if you just run around in a couple like spin attacks. Or I guess 3, yeah, like 3 spin attacks.
Yeah. Or 2 spin attacks in a combo, which is what I did accidentally.
Yeah.
You can also use bomb arrows, but we're not doing that today. And then this is the ball and chain. It's a weapon.
I think it'd be kind of useful, like with killing Dark Hammer pretty easily. Not Dark Hammer, Dark Nut. And the
yeah, we're gonna be fighting more Dark Hammers.
Yeah. I always confuse the 2 names. And then we just use a small key to get back through here, and then we gotta do LFC again.
Yeah. Freezard's pretty hard to destroy, turns out. Oh. I was hoping one of these would be first try.
It is, yeah, it is tricky to get because it's frame perfect, this one. Yeah, got it. And this one, the other one you have more lenience, though.
And we're gonna be going into the chapel. Hopefully I don't mess up this fight because it's really cool with the ball and chain. I think it's cool. I think it's flashy. But yeah, there's a bunch of Chillfos in this room you're supposed to destroy to open the door to get the boss key. Well, the bedroom key, but... I think this is the only dungeon with a unique boss key, right? Yeah, it's because this is the only one.
I just realized that it is the only unique one.
Yeah. Ow. Getting
this
bullied.
Is difficult. There's a lot of ones you gotta get with the ball and chain.
Yeah. The cool one is the one where you destroy 4 at once, to be fair. See if I can get the 2-frame side hop. Nice. 2-frame window there is to skip Midna text. She will tell you that, oh, you got the key to the bedroom or whatever. And it's almost time for our first boss fight. So what is Blizzetta?
Blizzetta, yeah, so basically Yetta is going to turn into a monster because of the mirror shard, and she'll become Blizzetta. But you can kill her pretty fast. There's like, like a 2 cycle or something like that. You can, well, I'll show you here in a second.
Well, the first cycle is first phase is pretty, straightforward.
Yeah, it's like basically the same as casual. But the second phase, you can 2 cycle it.
Some weird angles. Whatever. This room is not a circle. It looks like a circle. This room is not a circle. It actually has a lot of different sides, which make the way that she bounces off of the walls kind of weird.
Yeah, so this is the part where you can 2 cycle. So basically you're gonna run around and then bounce off the wall a little bit to get caught in the circle. And then you can use the ball and chain to hit her once and then twice, and the fight will be over.
And there we go.
Yeah,
And that's Blizzetta.
yeah, much. It saves a lot of time to do it that way, because you skip basically the whole other phase.
I think it saves like, what, 40 seconds?
Yeah, it's still quite a bit of time.
Maybe more. But now we have a very long cutscene. Where this is the perfect opportunity to, I don't know, talk about the game, maybe? What is Zelda? What is a Midna?
I mean, yeah, like Midna's from the Twilight film.
Uh-huh. Do I get it? No. I was going for a 1-frame backflip.
Oh, you can do a backflip there? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the backflip sends you forward and it puts you next to the portal. What is a link? Look into eyes of Yeto. Look in reflection of Yeto's eyes, their true beauty. Who need mirror?
Best in the game.
I'll get the heart container to show you a funny thing. This only works with heart containers and maybe heart pieces. But it turns out, who needs a claw shot? Or a boomerang?
You could do that, that's awesome.
I'm pretty sure it's... I know it works with heart containers, and I think maybe heart pieces can be grabbed by ball and chain. It might just be heart containers. But that's like the only time where it's really relevant. So I hope everyone likes ladders.
Yes, it is a ladder time. We gotta go to Hylia to get the memo from Aru. I think that's his name, yeah, Aru.
It is Aru's memo.
Yeah, okay. And you can do some, they're called like C-up transforms, and it just saves you a couple frames. Saves time, but with ladders it's a little bit tricky, because sometimes you'll just, you know, like miss the ladder and things like that, so...
Yeah, like that.
Like so.
We can, there's things like this, like jump attacking up ledges instead of climbing. Little minor optimizations.
Yeah, you can do it with Wolf as well, but sometimes you bonk, which is, like, annoying.
And then you're sad, and then you climb this 19-second ladder anyway. Anyway, this is where you would play that one song that would DMCA you. Because that's just how much time you have.
Yes.
But now we're going to be going to the desert. If you liked ladders, I hope you like sand also. So how much do you think this game lags?
If you don't see down, it's gonna lag quite a bit. You didn't see down there.
Yeah. Not here.
Yeah. And then here. Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
I've completely forgot about Plum for some reason. This is Plum.
Yeah. Usually you'll transform just before the bridge there, or like just right there. And it'll make it so Plum doesn't see you, and then also you can talk to Fire. Because obviously if you're Wolf, they'll get scared.
That was weird. Did the completely wrong menu, it's fine. Nice. I love the cannon. Is Plum a jerk? Plum is a bird.
Is a jerk because he ruins your freaking, he loses time.
So I hope everyone likes sand. We're gonna be running across the desert.
And Phantom is C down, going in C down here, like Eagle View, because it lags a lot in the desert.
It's
but luckily,
pretty noticeable.
Yeah. Luckily you do know where you're going though, so it won't matter too much.
I just look at the minimap.
Oh, that's smart. I never thought of doing that. Don't fall. Okay, good.
Why would I fall?
I don't know. I've fallen there before.
Yeah, at some point here we'll get some Boblins will notice us. Oh well.
Yeah, you get a couple like cutscenes here.
I'm just gonna ignore them.
And coming up here as well, we'll have another map glitch. So I'll show you guys that. It's just the same one we did in Snow Peak. Because this time you have to be able to fall through the floor essentially to reach KB3.
Yeah, I do this with Wolf. I know some people roll with Link.
Yeah, it's easier to roll with Link, but it's faster to use Wolf.
Yeah, as long as you get an angle that works,
Yeah, I
please.
gotta angle like a bit more to the right, I think.
And then he auto corrects to the other side anyway. Classic. And I will save here, just for safety, just in case.
Yeah, well, as we mentioned before, if you die during map glitch, it soft logs. So you could die pretty easily. Well, not easily, but you could die to KP3.
Since I'm also not doing a buffer strat for map glitch, I don't want to warp to Lake Hylia.
Yeah, never really considered, yeah, if you like mess up map glitch as well, you'd have to warp away, so it's better to save.
That should be fine. Anyway. I hope everyone likes this color. It's kind of yellow. Do you want to explain what's happening?
Yeah, so this is supposed to we're I said this before, because you fall through the floor and then you're going to KP3 because it's unloaded due to map glitch.
Mm-hmm.
So you just go, you keep going, and then you're gonna get to KP3 eventually. It just takes a while. And then just like that, KP3's dead.
Just do that. Just do that all the time.
No, quick spins are essential for this run. You gotta be able. You can do called quick spins. You just jump attack and rotate your analog stick.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier to kill, especially KB3 or KB bosses in general.
Yeah, that trick that we did skips getting a small key. That's basically all it did. But it does save time. Despite how long it takes to fall.
Run all the way over there.
Yeah.
And then this is pretty casual, we just break the gate, and then we're gonna go into Arbiter's Grounds now.
Arbiter's Grounds is a dungeon.
Yes, it is.
Everyone likes it. I think this is most people's favorite dungeon, right?
Totally. It's definitely not a way you can lose a bunch of time.
Yeah, so we're gonna be making our way, well, mostly intended? There's like one minor thing, right? Otherwise it's pretty much intended. Nice.
Oh no, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that auto roll was,
nice
oops.
backup though.
Let's go over here. It's fine. One of the dungeons of all time. This is one of the only spots in Twilight Princess where there's a lot of cutscenes and they're unskippable.
Yeah, there's like a really long kill cutscene coming up.
And most cutscenes in this game are just skippable with the start button.
Here we try to go in blind, just save some time, and then pull lantern. And you can just kind of roll through the sand here. It saves a bit of time and makes it easier to escape the stall troops. Or what are they called? Not stall troops.
I don't know what they're called.
Mini stall troops.
Tiny children.
And this is super long.
It's like, what, 40 seconds?
Yeah. It feels like longer. And then all the Poe, we gotta collect, we only collect 3 out of 4 Poes here because you can do something called Poe 1 skip, which you'll see coming up. It's just another long jump attack with the boomerang.
Yeah, because this door doesn't check for the first Poe. It only checks for Poes 2, 3, and 4. Because the developers tried to think, well, you need the Poe scent to get to the second Poe anyway, right? It seems pretty logical. That you would just, I mean, it's implied that you need the first Poe. high.
Yeah, Moldorms are very annoying in this dungeon.
He really wanted to say hi. He almost really wanted to say hi again.
This is a pretty precise trick.
Yeah.
It's like you gotta get it, like you gotta mash A, get on the pillar, and then jump. You gotta be in like a certain angle. But this is the only way you can get to Ho 4 quickly.
Close. So this is our first Stalfos. That was our first Stalfos. We have bomb arrows. It's not super relevant. But bomb arrows are very strong.
Yeah, all you have to do is like 1 bomb per like skeleton
Yeah.
guy. And then this, you can do some RNG manipulation here, depending on which Poe he gets.
Can try at least.
And try, yeah. Well, you do yours a little bit differently. I've done this before.
Unfortunately, I don't know what that Poe means.
Oh, that one was get out of the sand and jump attack. Yeah, but basically, if you do get the Minif, they'll immediately start circling. So it just saves a bit of time, but you are pretty good RNG anyway, so it didn't take too long.
Yeah, and this is where we get the Poe Scent. Because we do need the Poe Scent in order to get to Poe 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll just make our way back to the main room and go to Poe 2.
We do have to push this block.
Yeah.
This is very important.
Yeah, because if you don't push that, you can't make your way back to the last Poe that you need.
But the entire reason we need the Poe Scent is because in order to actually dig up this chain, it's not interactable unless you have the Poe Scent.
Mm-hmm.
Also, since I don't have Ball and Chain equipped, I do this redead a little bit differently than you would in any percent.
Can you just use the... Oh, you just do that, okay. I thought you could just use the bow. And then you gotta get that for the small key up ahead.
Yep.
Or the small key door up ahead.
Avoiding the red rupee.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess you don't need rupees either in this route.
Yep. Because we start with 300 rupees.
Yeah.
No reason to actually collect money.
Yeah, so you'll want to avoid rupees because you'll get the text too and it just loses time. You want to spin attack those guys because they'll come back to hit you when you're trying to deal with the Poe.
Yeah.
They're a lot easier.
Yeah, the bubbles kind of tend to get in the way. As you can hear. Ow.
Yeah, they're very annoying in this room, especially.
And off to Poe 3. So 4, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure that's the right order.
Yeah.
That's how counting works. Say hi to Po1 again. Run right through him.
It's just ignored the whole time.
I'm sure he has a lot to say. But yeah, so we have a small key for this locked door. I'm sure you can tell that it's locked, right? It was pretty obviously locked.
That's pretty cool. You can unlock it from the other side.
Then we're gonna sneak up behind this re-dead. Because if we walk in front of him, he's gonna start screaming. And that's Po 3.
Then the door will be, we'll have another cutscene to watch, but then the door will open.
And then we get to do more tricks.
Yep.
There's gonna be some interesting movement in the back half. Just because of the direction we go to get to the dungeon item. Depending on your definition of glitchless. This trick is not a glitch.
I'm gonna be getting the boss key early.
Somewhat early.
You don't have to, yeah, you don't have to go through the whole back half.
So we're gonna make our way over here.
You can just kind of B-attack to get through there. Sometimes it's a bit annoying if you don't have the right angle.
Yeah, it's kind of a precise angle. Come on.
You want to be a little more to the left, but it's hard to get it like that.
There we go.
If you B-attack too much, you'll risk, you know, going into the quicksand.
Yep.
But just like that, you have the key.
And then making our way through this room backwards. Doing some sort of weird pathing with wolf flank.
Yeah, you can kind of just B-attack through the sand there.
Oh.
You don't sink.
And then we have 3 more Stalfos in this room. You're supposed to come from the other side.
Just use your bomb arrows on these guys. Or the bombs, yeah.
And easy.
Yeah, you can just drop the last bomb there, like Phantom did. And the 2 Stalfos will actually gravitate towards that envelope, and then you can just be waiting at the gate.
Ah, nice bonk.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, these bugs are super annoying. Especially if you bonk, sometimes you can drown in the sand there too. And then we'll be going to Death Sword.
This fight is... No.
Okay. Yeah, this fight you can one cycle. You can just, you gotta be wolf first to get his attention there. Jump attack him, and then you can, just claw shot and do a bunch of slashes, and it'll one cycle. Usually this fight does take a lot longer, but... Spin attack. Dang, I didn't see. That's cool. Yeah, and then you just do some combos there.
That was the mini boss. That was Death Sword. It's supposed to take a while. I think you're supposed to technically use the bow. That's probably what they intended you to do.
I think so, yeah.
But we're making our way to the boss fight. Save warping.
Yep, save,
Just
you save and then you
a little bit faster.
button reset there.
Because otherwise we have to make our way through all of the rooms we just came through. And these rooms are just ever so slightly faster to get through. To get back to where we were, at least.
So, start at the beginning.
That Moldorm, please.
Oh no! It almost drowned. Yeah, this dungeon has the boss door pretty close to the entrance, because, you know, you're supposed to go pretty far into the dungeon to get the spinner.
Mm-hmm.
The spinners don't really need to get to the boss.
Yeah, assuming you have the boss key already.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So, Stallard is a fight. We're gonna be bouncing around an arena. And these stall soldiers that spawn are kind of RNG, kind of not.
It's pretty RNG, because where they spawn and then they'll throw you off, because sometimes you'll get stuck on them instead, because you're supposed to be able to go to his spine every time and attack, but the stall troops kind of get in your way.
Yes, this fight is a 2-stage, 3 cycles on the first stage. Every cycle is pretty simple in concept. I find the second cycle to be the hardest, personally. Just because I want to take it aggressively and I always get punished.
It's very easy, because you don't have any stall troops in your way. Well, I guess not very many, but...
Well, not enough to matter, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the second one is pretty tough.
Nice.
So yeah, they'll get in your way pretty easily.
And then the third one, you actually have to, like, bounce from behind. So I try and take a very specific path if I can. Nice finger.
Oh, and then, yeah, those things are annoying too, because...
Easy.
And then you'll get another long cutscene here for the second phase. Gotcha, a couple, because you get one, and then you do your spinner, and then you get another one. So,
Arbiter's Grounds is cutscenes. Normally this is not like, you know, 30 minutes into most speedruns. Normally it's pretty deep.
Yeah, usually it's like 2 hours in, two and a half maybe. Oh, my spine. It's real. Yeah, and then you'll get a cutscene of Stellar pushing you off this.
We're gonna be going for a kind of tight trick. Hopefully I hit it. It's not too hard, but it's a little tight.
Yeah, it's called Early Knockdown. But it's not frame perfect, but it is, yeah, fairly precise. It's probably do like 5 rolls and then Get on the spinner.
Oh, I was a little
you
late.
almost got it.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just go around.
Oh, okay. I didn't pay. I need to back up.
Yeah, it's not that much slower just to do it normally, but it is a tight trick. I don't know the exact frame window. I think it's like a handful of frames.
Actually, we were trying to do that, but a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Because you can get beside them. And then the quick spins are very important for a lot of bosses, like this one too. You can you can one cycle Stellar 2 with that, because otherwise, you know, you'd be doing it
the same thing. Yeah. It would take quite a bit longer to do it the intended way of, because every time that you miss that, there's like the little spike spinners that spawn on the railings also. Just makes it so much harder every single time. If you drop like a couple spins and have to knock him down again, it's so painful.
And here we'll just skip the heart container to save some time, and you spread your spinner, and that's it. It's easy.
Yeah, because if you just press the spinner button, then you don't even have to adjust your angle or anything. You just go straight forward. If you pick up the heart container, it's not as simple.
And then here we have another messenger fight. This one we'll actually be fighting. There's about 5 of them, so you have just a little pattern you go through to get them all done quick.
Yeah, this is required for the sake of the category. It is all mirror shards. It's not the 4 dungeons that normally have mirror shards in them. We have to actually collect the mirror shards.
Yeah, which is why we also have to raise the totem of the mirror shard.
Nice.
Oh no! Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, he hit me during the spin attack.
So this is where we're getting our first mirror shard.
Second.
Or sorry, our second mirror. Yeah, second. Yeah. I kind of forgot about Snow Peak for a second there.
Snow Peak is so forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 mirror shards now. I don't actually know how the game keeps track of it. I think it's mostly just progress based anyway.
In fact, the cutscene we just skipped, if you let that play, it would crash the game. Or, yeah. No, there's like one or two that like it crashes the game if you don't skip it. So it's just good to skip it anyway because it saves a lot of time.
They are long cutscenes regardless.
Yeah.
So it's time for City in the Sky.
Yeah, so this is another big trick. It's called Early City. So you have to you basically transform into the owl statue and you can flip through. It's just a semi-precise angle you have to use. Because originally, you know, you'd have to do the quests, like the Skybook quests, which suck.
Oh, a little too far left.
Close.
Trying to just YOLO it.
You can also do a long jump attack through here, but it's a lot more precise.
Too far right. That's not gonna work. This is just one of those tricks sometimes.
Yeah, it's a little bit finicky. That should work.
Yeah, that'll work. Oh.
No? Wow, that's amazing.
I was probably just a little bit too far right.
Yeah, angle is everything with this trick. You gotta be kind of just shimmy yourself in there.
There we go.
Oh, perfect.
So we're gonna warp the cannon.
Yeah. You can't warp it normally though, because you say like Minna will be like, "Oh, there's someone watching us," because usually Shad is in there with you. But all you have to do is just map warp, and she'll warp the cannon for you.
Yep.
And then usually you have to have like collect rupees throughout the run to pay fire, but you already have 300 rupees, so it makes it easy. You just pay them, and they'll fix the cannon for you.
And then we get to go to the best dungeon.
Yeah. And then we'll transform again to avoid Plum.
Oh. Hello,
and
Bridge.
Take a dip and
Hey, buddy. Is that your cannon? And then you get to hear the sound of $300 draining directly out of Link's pockets.
taxes.
Unskippable.
It's a lot.
But there's a lot in City in the Sky to talk about. There's a lot of things going on. A lot of, well, mostly LJAs. Which you could say how an LJA works. We never actually mentioned that.
Yeah, so with the long jump attacks, you use a boomerang, and anytime you throw it over a void, and it's coming on the way back to you, you can jump, like jump attack, and it will do a long jump attack. So it's a really good way to clear voids. Use it in so many like different areas in the run, but especially in City in the Sky, you're going to use it a lot. Just in this first room here coming up, use it a couple times, and it just saves you having to use the Uku to, fly yourself across.
Also, thank you for the raid, Bug Doctor. You're just in time for the second half of the run. This run is not very long, admittedly. Most Twilight Princess runs are fairly lengthy for Zelda. But since we're only doing the 4 dungeons, it's what, like half the length of any percent? About?
Yeah. Yeah, the only times you're going to get a short run if you're doing AFS or AMS. Or I guess there's like Hold a Dog too, but that's only like 5 minutes. And Jot Wad is pretty short.
Yeah, we can do Hold a Dog speedruns.
Yeah. So this is the room I was talking about with the long jump attacks. You have to be kind of cautious because there's some Helmosaurs in here, and they'll try to knock you over, and they can make you void out if they attack you like that. That's close.
He tried.
And this, you have to be kind of careful with this door, because if you just ran up to it and opened it, the fan at the top would start going. You can do this thing, is called fan skip. So if you just
There we go.
transform into wolf and open the door behind a certain line, the fan at the top will stay still, and you need that because in City 2, like the second part of City, you're gonna need to get the boss key up there, and it will completely mess you up if that fan is going. You'd essentially have to do City casually.
Yeah, I transformed just like a little far back so that Wolf Link wasn't quite close enough to open the door.
Mm-hmm.
Which is always the sketchy part.
It's
like I have to nudge forward like a pixel, but not 2 pixels.
And we have to go over here to get this small key, because there's no way to progress on the other side without it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, locked doors are actually obstacles that we can't really do anything about. Doors in this game are very strong. Small key in the biggest chest in the world.
Yeah, right. Coming out of here, we'll have to do a cutscene skip, because if you just ran out here normally, Argarok would have this big cutscene where he breaks the bridge. But you can claw shots. Well, there's a couple ways to do it. Essentially, you just need to go around where the cutscene trigger is. So let's see what Phantom does, because you can go up the barrier or you can claw shot the peak hat.
Yep.
Just kind of jump attack across with the wind. You have to wait for the wind to be going.
Hello, bird.
That bird can really mess you up if you're too slow. Like it'll hit you and then you go into the cutscenes.
Yeah, I've seen many ways that those birds can be a problem. Normally this would be one of the last uses of spinner, but we actually have to use the spinner in the last dungeon as well.
Yeah, in Temple of Time. Yeah, you want to kill that guy because he'll just immediately hit you off the spinner.
You cannot, in fact, extend this bridge fast enough.
Yeah, this is a really slow and annoying part.
But I know a lot of people casually do not like this dungeon. And the solution is going to be how I'm going to move through these next few rooms.
Yeah, there's a lot more long jump attacks. We're gonna bypass a lot of the puzzles here.
It makes these rooms a lot more fun.
Yeah, for sure. You kind of have to be careful where you stand with this one too, because you can also crash the game here too. There's a lot of different ways you can crash this one.
A lot of different ways the game will just stop.
Yeah, just cease to exist. This is our tile room. You can do like just a little slash there too. Get that real quick. Couple long jump attacks. It's pretty easy to avoid out there. It takes a lot of practice to be able to do those. And here you can just spin attack both of those, what are they called? Lizards?
Dynalphos?
Dynalphos, yep. And then you can just claw shot there before the cutscene, too.
Yeah, because they're not Lizalphos. They're the same thing as Lizalphos, but with more armor.
Yeah.
Quite different. I'm gonna grab this chicken.
And just use the Uku to get through the vent. And the next room is also kind of tricky, because you do something called like an Uku jump. If you have a good angle, you can bypass having to claw shot one of the levers. But it's pretty precise and easy to mess up.
Yeah. Hopefully I just get it first try.
Yeah.
Because I will just retry it. So I'll wait for the fan cycle.
Here you gotta have a... Then you should just be able to drop the chicken and...
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I need...
That's okay though, it's not what I want to do.
Just want to get rid of that guy. There should be another Uku. Way up there. Okay. We're just gonna do this. That Uku was so far away.
Oh my god. Yeah, this happened to me too. Like, I don't know why.
Why
they're
is
all the
it
way up
so
the wall.
far away? Hello?
Oh man, yeah, this is a really bad circumstance. Like, sometimes the chickens just aren't cooperating at all.
There's one up there. Surely.
Just unlucky. Okay, there we go. Okay.
These Uku were not having it today.
No.
I don't know what I did to them to deserve this. But they were 10 miles up the wall.
Yeah. I don't know, like, why they do that sometimes. And here, instead of doing the whole puzzle to get down with the double claws, you can... Well, I don't know what they do, but you just skydive with the chicken.
I don't know the vanilla strat.
Yeah.
The intended way of doing this room.
I honestly don't. Like, I struggled with this casually.
I missed it.
Yeah, you can do it as like a one-frame opportunity to put your boots on during the cutscene. And now we're going into something called a Ralphos skip. So this is very precise. There's a buffered method of doing this. And essentially it allows you to claw shot up without actually having to fight the other Ralphos. I'll just let Phantom focus.
Anyway.
And just like that, yeah. That was easy for Phantom.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And now we have 2 claw shots.
Yeah. 2 claw shots. And that buffer angle method we'll be using again in Temple of Time.
Oh, true.
Just a little bit differently. Yeah.
I was like, what do you mean using that again?
Yeah, for dot skip. It's kind of cool you can climb on the chest there, and it's just a little bit of an easier way, or a faster way.
Yeah, easier and faster.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to adjust or anything for getting back.
And you don't have to worry about the cutscene skip again, which is nice. You can just run on out.
Yeah. Our save warp took us there because we skipped the cutscene in the first place. Nice. If we did not skip that cutscene, the save warp would put us at the front of the dungeon like normal.
Yeah, which would be pretty inconvenient because we'd have to do the first room and stuff all over again. And then we have to go up here and we're going to do something called Kai Clip. So this is how we get the boss key pretty early, which is also why we needed that fan to be stopped. If it was going, it would be a huge problem.
Yeah, it would kind of be in the way of
Just
Link.
a little bit.
In fact, it would probably... You think it would just kill Link.
Eventually you can aim and there's a grade at the top where you can actually reach with your claw shot if you're at a certain angle.
I saw the target. There it is.
There we go. And you can just claw shot through all the grates, which is nice.
Yeah, there's just a very small missing piece of collision that you can aim through. Okay. New things.
And sometimes you end up playing like musical chairs up there because you keep grabbing onto things instead of jumping down.
The fan is somewhat awkward.
And this room is also, it's kind of challenging sometimes because they're not actually moving. You have to do an LJ in between, and then but you can also just do that and like flush at the top and you can climb onto it. And then here Phantom will do another LJ. You have to do 2 in succession of each other. Nicely done.
Easy. I never actually learned. Supposedly the 2 single LJAs is easier. I just never learned that.
Yeah, I've never, you'd have to do that pretty fast.
Like, I think I've seen someone like learning it. I was like, the other method's not hard.
Yeah, because if you do multiple trigger or targets, you have more time to react.
Oh, okay.
And the goal in this room is just to
I'm gonna be behind a cycle. It's fine.
wall shot all the fans before they turn. Usually have like 1 or 2 opportunities each time.
Yeah, you kind of have to let go of the claw shot before it tells you that you can. Because otherwise you're just gonna miss more often than not.
Standing still so it makes it a bit easier.
Yeah. And we're gonna be heading into our boss fight against Argarok.
Yeah, fun. There's some there's some ways you can make it a lot faster.
It's a pretty slow fight, no matter how you take it, but
you can do something called a rob shot here as well. You can aim up and then optimally you'll be at the very top by the time you claw shot.
close enough.
Or well, very close to the top, which is
Yeah.
good.
I just need to burn some time here, so I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna wait for Argrok to come back, and then we're gonna attempt a re-grab. So you grab him first, and then you quickly claw shot one of the pillars, and then you're able to re-grab, and that saves at least like 20 seconds, because you skip the part where Argrok like flies around again.
Yeah.
And you have to climb all the way up the tower, so yeah, it's huge.
Argarok is
So then right away, yeah. Nice. And then another long cutscene.
this cutscene's like 45 seconds or something. But we have to watch the pea-hats come out of the ground.
It's very, very important part of the run.
Argarok is a cool boss. It's just mostly an auto-scroller. An auto-scroller that you can speed up. We'll be speeding it up a little bit.
Yeah. You can do stuff, these things called flame skips, or yeah, I think that's what they're called, to make it a little bit faster.
We're also gonna void out immediately, because Argarok is trying to fly away. And we'd rather he just stay in the middle of the arena. So voiding out resets him to the middle.
We're here to get up to the top before Argrok howls, because essentially when Argrok howls, you have to be aiming to that P-hat. And that's how you will have your timing for your flame skip.
I like to go up the second one.
Argrok will think that you've fallen here and will go into his vulnerable state, where you can just claw shot onto his back. And that's what you do for 2 more times, but the last time is a little bit differently performed.
Yeah, the second one is pretty much the same.
Fortunately, if you're too slow and you get up there like after Argrok howls, it messes up the cycle. The skip. You also have to be pretty quick with targeting the back, because Argarok will go back to normal after a short period.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time to do it, but it's overall fairly generous.
And this time you'll want to have your boots off, and then you're gonna go on more of the P-hats. You go on like 4 of the P-hats. It's just a little bit different. You have to wait for Argrok's flame to be like on that P-hat, and you put your boots on. And then as soon as Argrok does his flame, you take the boots off, and that'll work that way. To get invulnerable again. Because usually in the 3rd phase, Argrok will have 2 cycles of the flames.
Yep.
Yeah, 3rd cycle's always a bit longer.
It's it doesn't seem like it's fast, but it is still significantly faster than doing it the casual way. I think overall it's what, like probably 40 seconds or something, if you do all of them. Something like that.
Yeah, considerable amount of time.
I will actually be grabbing this heart container just to be at full health. Because, we're gonna take some damage in a second. We're gonna take a lot of damage. In, a short amount of time. And having more health going into some kind of laggy fights is overall just more comfortable.
We'll go back out, and then we warp to North Farron now at this point to do something called the Sacred Grove, like bomb boost. And it's just an early way to get to Sacred Grove. So we're gonna have to go to Temple of Time now.
Yeah, Temple of Time will be our last dungeon. That will be when we have all of the mirror shards. I do typically run all dungeons, but all dungeons is a 4-hour speedrun. Whereas this is an hour and a half. And this is a fairly similar run to the second half of all dungeons, for the most part. Ignoring the fact that we don't do Palace of Twilight or Hyrule Castle. So, this is a fairly precise trick here.
As well, a little bit differently done, and it will bomb boost you up to the ledge essentially, and then you can do another long jump attack to reach the other side. Just huge time save considering it's the only way to get to Sacred Grove now.
There we go. That route is a little annoying. And we're clearly inbounds. I hit the tree.
No way.
That's funny.
Oh,
That's actually really funny, but that's fine. Just have to get up there again.
yeah, that was like really unlucky to hit the tree there. Yeah, because you essentially were doing a blind LGA to cross that gap, so it's sometimes you make a mess up the jump or hit something and makes you fail it.
Yeah, but it's not overall that difficult. It's just a little weird.
You can also use the minimap to help you a little bit with this one.
I tried to land on that Howling Stone.
You're close.
I've done it before. It does literally nothing, it's just kind of cool. But yeah, we have to chase Skull Kid through the woods.
Yeah, this is in the Lost Woods where it's easy to get lost.
Yeah, overall, this game is very, very difficult. All mirror shards, I think, is probably the easiest category. Just because you don't have to do a lot of the hard beginning tricks. That wall, basically just a wall for most people. Just to get started. If you just want to play the game and get a feel for things, I think all mirror shards is a pretty good category for that.
Yeah, people generally enjoy the late game more, and this is showing off the more of the late game. Well, except obviously the 2 last dungeons.
Yeah, and to be fair, compared to like any percent, you wouldn't even go to Temple of Time.
Right, yeah.
So it's like a minor difference.
You do, I would say like the same as casual. You just follow the light and hit hit Skulker with your bow.
Oh, okay, I missed the trigger. That's fine.
Yeah, it's easy to get lost in here for sure.
There's a minor optimization you can do there to trigger the trees to open up in a different order. But it involves like kind of weird movement. It just skips this backtrack part a little bit. Yeah, we're almost done. We just have to shoot Skull Kid 3 more times. Ah, hello, puppets. Hello. Why was there a puppet behind me? I didn't know that they could follow you down here. That's funny.
Yeah.
I think I might have seen that before, but I didn't remember that ever happening. What did I collect? Arrows, maybe? Puppet died on me and gave me arrows.
Well, that's handy.
How many arrows do I have? Yeah, they gave me arrows.
Nice.
All right.
Lots of arrows.
Yeah, we'll be using a good chunk of arrows in Temple of Time. Okay, that side hop is impossible. It's just another like 1-frame trick, but the cutscene skips so quickly it's hard to position your hands in such a way to actually do it. And if you were questioning whether or not this was the GameCube version, this should show you right now. This fight is very laggy.
This is our last Shadow Beast fight.
Yeah, I mean, we're not leaving after Temple of Time, so...
True, yeah. Unfortunate.
I got pushed away.
All of these fights are essentially like puzzles of how you can kill them in which order to make sure they're all getting killed and no one's getting left behind.
As long as not a single one is left standing.
Mm-hmm. You're not gonna get the bug? SMH.
There's a bug here?
Yeah, I hear it.
Why would I get the bug?
For bonus points.
Oh, of course, of course. So this is Temple of Time. Just like Ocarina of Time. Here's the Master Sword pedestal. Except there's more to it than that. There's an actual dungeon.
This will be the last dungeon of AMS.
Yep.
For our last mirror shard.
Yeah, normally in like all dungeons, you actually do Temple of Time before City in the Sky. But but it just works out for this category that it's a little bit better to do it this way. This dungeon is mostly as intended, at least the first half. It's pretty close. There's not a whole lot you can do because it is just about climbing the tower as quickly as possible. It is just a giant tower.
Skip talking to Uku here, just a long jump attack. To jump over basically the dialogue.
Yeah.
Trigger.
On the 1.0 Wii version, that trigger is very small. Hello, spider.
And what Phantom's gonna do now is jump over the gates. You can do a very quick A and B movement here. Or just like can jump slash essentially over the gate. Instead of doing the different puzzles and things you'll have to do in this dungeon.
Yep. As long as you don't do it on frame 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Easy.
Nice.
Spinner. I'm used to all dungeons and my equips are a little bit different because I have double claw at the top right now. But that's really the only place where the equips are different between this and all dungeons. It's just right now having double claw be at the top.
You can save a bit of time here by kind of manipulating the levers a little bit. Like you can get Link to stand on the other one, but then at the last minute, climb onto there and you're up.
Yeah, we actually
use a bit of, yeah.
we actually use analog glitch there if you want to talk about what that is. Do you know how analog glitch works?
A little bit, yeah, because you basically Phantom like held forward and like spammed A to go forward, but because of analog glitch, Link actually side hopped. So you can use that to get up, yeah.
That was interesting. This is the small key. There's actually a lot of other things in this room. We're just gonna ignore those. There's like 2 other chests in here. One of them is just a piece of heart though, so it doesn't really matter. You're supposed to come back in there with the Dominion Rod to get most of it. Because you're supposed to come through this dungeon from top to bottom. But because we will not be doing that, we're gonna try and get a few things early. Namely the boss key coming up shortly. Also, this room exists.
Yeah, the lizard enemies are really annoying in this dungeon.
Luckily, we actually can use bomb arrows for this. In all dungeons, we don't have enough bombs. Okay. Okay.
As demonstrated, they were very annoying in this dungeon.
They got in the way. They got punished for it. Nice camera.
And that was another example there. Isn't that much? Because it like.
Yeah, because the camera was being weird.
Yeah.
It technically is analog glitch. Two health, I'm not actually concerned. Shouldn't really be taking any damage that's meaningful at this point. I like to side hop onto this, but it just gives us a little bit more height to be able to reach this.
Yeah, that's really handy and a quick way of getting over to the room here.
Yeah, you're supposed to bring the statue down here and get it on the second trip by like weighing the scales down. Hello, sir.
Thanks, taking those shields off because it's can be used as material for the levers, for the pressure plates. It would be called, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can use what are those things called? Like the weights, or you can use the shields.
Yeah, and you're supposed to use the Dominion Rod to get more of the little statues off the wall. But even glitchless would come in here early. Because there's really no reason not to.
Yeah. Which to use the shields.
Nice. We have one more LJA coming up. One more use of the boomerang. In probably a not like super expected way.
This room is very annoying too. There's a lot of obstacles and enemies.
There's a little bit going on in this room.
God.
Okay, he followed me.
Yeah, sometimes they like all follow you too.
I will take the heart.
But you can long jump attack and just avoid the electricity there. It's really nice.
Barrier skip. I was trying to get the heart that's in one of these. There it is. And this is the mini boss fight against the one and only Dark Nut in the entire game. Right? The only one?
Totally a unique boss fight. You can actually start the fight with the boomerang too, which is really cool. It's a really easy way to beat Dark Knight. And you can use the ball and chain as we mentioned before. Just in the second part here. Or you can do it or you can just use slashes to it. Right up to you.
Anyway.
So then, yeah.
Just a ball and chain to the ankles 4 times.
Amazing.
The other Dark Nuts in Hyrule Castle don't make it that easy on you. You have to do a little bit more work to hit him with the ball and chain. But this guy just runs at you.
And we got the Dominion Rod.
So we're going to be save warping. Make sure that before you save warp, you do get the Dominion Rod.
Yeah, because fun fact, if you forget it, you gotta do that whole thing again.
Yep. You have to climb the entire tower. And that would be a shame.
Yeah. This is a very precise trick Phantom's about to do. It's called Door Time Skip. And similar to what we were doing with the Reflo skip, you have to do a very specific angle. And so Phantom has the angle now. They're trying just to keep the angle by targeting and just very precise like side hops. And then you need to roll into the door, roll, and then on the second frame, yeah, perfect. You do on the second frame roll, and then you'll clip right in.
Easy.
That was a nice try. Yeah, well done.
Considering I failed that trick at Midwest Speedfest a week ago. I'll take it. I'm a little too far away from the thing. It's fine. And we will be fighting Armagoma. This is our final boss of the run. So Armagoma is RNG. She will stop at basically random over one of these. Every time she gets to a light beam, it is a 50-50 if she will decide to stop or move on to another one. And there is no cap. She could technically go infinite if you just get coin flips for long enough. Eventually she will flip tails and stop on a light beam, and then you can shoot her with an arrow. And between phases, she will summon babies. Apparently she'll also do this if you just don't have arrows to shoot her with. Okay. Goma. Goma.
Very nice for now.
Goma. Hello. Hi.
Watch the Empress like happen.
All right.
Oh my god.
50-50, by the way.
There we go.
Nice.
What?
Yep.
How does that not hit? There we go.
That can happen also. That usually doesn't happen. I think it's like if you hit her like too early with the statue, like before she's completely vulnerable. But that's some Armagoma. Will she stop this time? Huh? Hey. There we go. She's not actually dead. There's a little bit more, but time will be coming up on the text box selection to leave Temple of Time. Oh no, it's an eyeball. Anyway. if you use regular arrows, it takes 3 arrows, but bomb arrows, it's 1. And that was Armagoma in the Temple of Time. She was an Armagoma of all time. At least that second round was. Yeah, that is all mirror shards. This is the last mirror shard. Normally I am running all dungeons basically every day of the week, at least as much as I can. That is my current goal. And mid plays any percent. Primarily, that's time.
That is time.
So, thank you all for hanging out and watching this run. I hope you enjoyed a kind of like snippet of Twilight Princess.
Very much the like late game showcase.
Yeah.
Good time there, Phantom.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming mid and commentating, because doing this solo is really hard.
Yeah, for sure. Like especially some of the more precise tricks.
Yeah, so thank you Retrothon for having me, and for multiple runs even. And hope everyone had a good time with the marathon. Hand it over to whatever is planned for the marathon outro.